Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with two cops pursuing a criminal. However, during that, a cop named Cody is wounded, and the criminal he is after escapes. Not only did the criminal shoot Cody, but he also shoots a citizen nearby. Mason, Cody's colleague, is clearly shaken by the situation. Mason tries to reassure Cody that help is on the way. However, Cody believes he would not survive, so he encourages Mason to see his brother John, in order to assist in the rescue of his ex-wife from someone named Toro. Mason vows to tell John what he learned. Cody's brother, John Payne, is a former Special Forces officer, who chose to retire and run a pub in the New York City suburbs. That night, the bar is closed, but two strangers enter, claiming to be businessmen looking to acquire John's bar. They show money, and request John leave right away. However, he has no intention of selling it, and declines any money they offer. That certainly irritates them, so they begin to be racist, disparaging John's skin color. They also threaten John, if he does not sell it, they will kill him immediately. However, he proves he is not an easy prey, beating them both violently. After that, he learns his brother Cody has died, and he is devastated. The next morning, he travels to the city, to meet Cody's new boss, Briggs. He informs John Cody died while on a mission, assigned by his previous boss. They were on a mission, hunting crooks from illicit product syndicates, but Cody became a victim while there. His burial is held the next day, and there is also Cody's best friend Mason, who appears distraught. It is obvious that Cody was deceived during the mission, and by falling into the trap, he was killed. Briggs and other police officers also attend the funeral, and they run into Cody's ex-wife, Lacey. She is escorted by numerous people as she leaves there. Volley, Cody's best buddy, approaches John. Volley speculates that the death had something to do with his own informant, because when Cody's informant was apprehended by the syndicate's boss, Toro, he became their target. Hearing this, John states if he cools down, he would meet Volley to continue the conversation. Mason, who is spying on the syndicates at the time, spots Lacey, with a man named Jovig, who is known to be Toro's right hand, and who acts in the field. Mason stealthily infiltrates the building after Jovig and Lacey have left. Unfortunately, the infiltration is discovered, and a shootout ensues. Mason fortunately manages to flee. Elsewhere, Volley is visited by a bunch of people, who instantly kill his entire family, along with him. Thus, it can be deduced that they are Toro's men, who don't want anyone interfering with their business. Following this occurrence, Briggs approaches Mason, and states he will send other troops to complete the mission, while Mason urges to cool down first from all that had happened to his comrade. After Briggs departs, he immediately contacts John, and requests they meet at a pub. When John arrives, he happens to see his ex-wife, Sky, who is now working as a bar dancer. Not long after Mason arrives, he witnesses Sky being bullied by many men, and taken to a room. He instructs Mason to wait a minute. He pursues them, and promptly thrashes the men, telling Sky to go home right away. Then John goes back to Mason, who tells him everything, including the fact that Cody and Volley were looking into the case of the syndicate, led by Toro. Toro is a mystery figure, who operates his business through his right hand, Jovig, and Jovig is the one who killed Cody, on orders from Toro. Unfortunately, the evidence of Toro and Jovig's crimes is only known to Volley and Cody, who are now deceased, so they are powerless to intervene. When John asks where he can find Jovig, Mason replies he is in the rear. Jovig, it turns out, owns the bar. He comes every Monday and Thursday, to check on the new dancers. The dancers are also reported to be utilized as messengers, to transport illicit products to Toro. Mason is on his way home, when he is unexpectedly attacked by numerous people, who want to kill him. Nevertheless, he is able to fight them and defend himself. Back to John, who is now at his sister's house. There, he readily finds evidence of Toro and Jovig's misdeeds, because he knows from childhood that his sister always keeps secret objects in the same area, and only he is aware of it. The evidence includes a tape, a cell phone, and a key. When the recording is seen, it shows Jovig torturing Cody's informant. Toro is also present, but his face is obscured in the recording, which only shows Toro shooting the informant sent by Cody. John also searches Cody's phone, and discovers a video, in which Cody stated that he is being pursued by Toro's syndicate, because he had seized their €5 million, which he had hidden in a safe, and the key can be used to open the safe. Jovig and his crew, on the other hand, unexpectedly approach John's ex-wife and one of her friends. He inquires who had beaten his men while he was not present. Sky's companion responds that the individual was only a customer, who happened to be present. Jovig plainly does not believe that, and he smacks him. but Sky's friend boldly fights him back, and they hurry away. Jovic quickly dispatches his soldiers to apprehend them both. The next morning, while at Cody's place, John is astonished by someone entering, who turns out to be Mason. John quickly apologizes, and invites Mason to have a seat. There, John shows and explains what he has discovered, which is evidence of Toro and Jovic's involvement in all of the crimes. However, they still have no idea who Toro is. Mason saw Lacey depart with Jovic, so they both decide to see Cody's ex-wife. Lacey's relationship with Toro and Jovic is brought up by John. She informs him about being approached by Toro's guys one day. They urged her to gather girls in need of work. The females were to be utilized as dancers and couriers of illegal products. They threatened to kill Cody and his sister if Lacey did not obey, realizing that she was resisting. She was even forced to divorce Cody, and was compelled to comply with all of their desires, since she had no option. Following that, John receives a video sent from his ex-wife's cell phone, which reveals a video of Sky and a friend being tortured and ultimately killed by Jovic. At that moment, John goes straight to Jovic's pub. Jovic's right hand says that he has no idea where Jovic is, but John proceeds to beat him. A lot of guards attempt to fight John, but are unsuccessful. John beats them all one by one, and remains untouched. Finally, an individual informs him that Jovic is in a room upstairs, who is already on high alert, and shoots everybody who comes in through the door, but he accidentally shoots his own right hand. John, extremely enraged, finishes Jovic, breaking his neck. Next, John inquires Jovic's right hand the identity of the Toro figure. The man claims to have met Toro frequently, but he always arrives with a disguised face and voice, so no one knows, except Jovic and Lacey. John approaches Lacey shortly after hearing this, escorted by a person. There, he asks her to inform Toro that he wishes to meet him in an ancient castle in the city, and John is willing to hand over the 5 million euros that his sister had confiscated, but only on the condition that Toro releases Lacey. Following that, John goes to Briggs to request troop assistance in surrounding Toro, but Briggs is unable to do so, as John is no longer a soldier. Hearing this, John approaches Mason, and states that Briggs refused to assist him, which means that John can only rely on Mason. Mason, who despises Toro, will undoubtedly take part in this expedition. They set up many traps for Toro's troops, before meeting with him. Long story short, Toro arrives in the evening, with several troops he brought, and they break out around the castle, to surround John. Toro emerges from the car shortly after, accompanied by a huge number of his men. He orders John to come out carrying his money, threatening Lacey. Mason intends to kill Toro when the time comes, but his plan is foiled when Toro's men are caught in a trap they had already constructed, forcing them to shoot each other. While Toro hides in his car, John and Mason dispatch them one by one. Toro shoots Lacey dead when he is encircled, and when Mason is going to shoot Toro, he is unmasked, and we learn his name, turning out to be Toro Briggs, John and Mason's boss. When they see that, they both grow enraged, and instantly rain down hot bullets on him and his guys. However, Briggs and one of his men are able to escape, entering the castle. John keeps looking for Briggs, but he is unfortunately stabbed by him. Briggs urges John to drop his gun into the hole, and demands that John immediately hand over 5 million euros. John questions why Briggs had gone through all of this, and had the audacity to murder his brother. Briggs states that he adored Lacey, but she married Cody instead. In fact, John already suspected Toro was Briggs, after seeing a video of him finishing off an informant, and seeing Toro pull out a 1911 series pistol with a silver handle, the same revolver John observed when he met Briggs in his office. Mason, on the other hand, meets one of Briggs' guys, and when he removes his mask, it turns out to be his former police buddy. The man claims to be the one who slaughtered the Volley family, and upon hearing this, Mason rushes forward to kill him. Briggs immediately fires his gun at John, knocking him down, but he quickly jumps back up. When he was at Briggs' office yesterday, he had covertly swapped his gun bullets for blanks, and Lacey had also pretended to be shot dead. Briggs can't help but fight John now. Mason is still warring with his co-workers, until he ultimately kills him, so does John, killing Briggs. 3 weeks later, John is spotted entering a cafe, which turns out to be Lacey's. Mason, who is waiting for John outside, also arrives. John came here to see Lacey, who has changed her name to Adenia, Cody's last name. Soon, John comes out to leave Lacey a letter, in which he states that if Lact and his sister are in New York, he would always keep the door open for them. He also leaves a suitcase with hundreds of euros, and the key to the safe, where Cody stored Briggs' $5 million. After that, John thanks Mason for his assistance, and departs with him. Mason, on the other hand, claims that he is the one who should thank John, because thanks to him, Mason has been appointed as Briggs' replacement in the police force. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.